in Scottsdale, Arizona. He started his culinary career in Arizona, went to Georgia where he worked for the Jekyll Inn. I love that name of that establishment. Robert made his way to Virginia. I asked him earlier, he said he's always been you're a native of Virginia, is that correct?
I am.
But he did go to Arizona for a short while, but he came back in 2002, and he stayed in the Richmond area until landing his position here. He and his family own a farm in Palmyra called the Crick Hollow Farm. Won't you please help me welcome today Mr. Robert White.
Hi everybody, how are you?
Excellent.
So yeah, that's kind of me, my career in a nutshell there. As some of you may have read in the recent Lake Views, kind of what brought me to Palmyra. Use the mic.
It is on.
All right. Some of you may have read in the Lake Views kind of what brought my wife and I to Palmyra. We actually had our honeymoon here 13 years ago. That's what everybody says. And when you were as young as we were and neither one of us had a whole lot of money, and we're like, hey, this bed and breakfast in Palmyra looks lovely. And it's right down 64. So we had stayed there when we were dating too. It used to be the old Courthouse Inn, for those of you who may be familiar with it. She is still there. No longer a bed and breakfast. She is actually one of Fluvanna's master gardeners and does garlic is really her big thing. So my farm, oddly enough, we realized once we purchased the place, was about 100 yards from that driveway. So it's like been this one big full circle. So when I had originally come out here to work in a job in Charlottesville, it ended up going south. It's a funny story. If anybody wants to hear it, I'll tell you later. But my old job asked me to come back, and I was like, they're like, what's it going to take? I'm like, well, not as much as you might think, as a matter of fact. So yeah, I've been commuting back and forth for the past 3 years. My wife and I are living in our version of a dream house. It's certainly not everybody's dream house, but you know, so it wasn't in the cards to go back to Richmond. We're like, no, we're here, we love it. So coming on board here has been just fantastic. I could not ask. It's always great to work where you live. So that's kind of how I feel about that. My wife and I's farm, just a brief thing on that. We do raise certified naturally grown produce and heritage. Sorry, I'm not used to the mics. We raise certified naturally grown produce and heritage breed hogs and heritage chickens for eggs. Something that we're just very passionate about is the local food scene, and it's something I'd like to bring here, you know, not fully, obviously, but certainly in ways. There are so many farmers in Fluvanna that have amazing products, that grow amazing produce. You know, I could start rattling them off. I mean, it's been great to kind of come into that community and, you know, just have so many outlets where I can learn from and just, you know, have farmer friends. It's cool. My wife and I have always wanted to have that. So kind of what my plans for the pub and the food service here. You know, when I came on board, Daniel and Nikki, who were running things before I got here, have done an amazing job of keeping everything going. It's not often, yeah, for sure. It's not often when you walk into a job, at least in this industry and in my experience, where the people that are in place are fantastic. You know, I come from the cutthroat world of Hilton hotels, and, you know, a lot of times you get sent to a hotel and things don't work out. So I've been very grateful to be working with them, to be learning from them. You know, we really think of this as one big team. So, you know, we've got Lakeside open now. If you guys haven't come in the past couple weeks, please come and visit us. We have a new menu. A lot of the old favorites are still there. We plan to start the specials probably in the next few weeks. We want to get a good handle on the menu before we start adding more stuff to that. All of this, I'm a big proponent of doing things in baby steps. So I am also the type of person who wants to come in and fix everything in my first week and just go about my business, and it doesn't happen. So you'll notice that my pace is slow, and it's for a reason. I've found that when taking over a food service, there's so much that you have to absorb and look at and study before you can start making changes or not. So we opened up our brunch today as well. That was our first brunch. I think it went very well. I'd like to see more of you there. Next Sunday, we'll be there. For both of the brunch and the dinner on Friday and Saturday here, we strongly recommend reservations. Reservations are good to make sure that you get a seat and to make sure also that we can handle the flow. I don't know if any of you have ever worked in the restaurant industry or been involved in some sort of that business, but when 30 people hit your door, service falters from time to time. So I encourage you all to come out and to make reservations and enjoy your dining experience. Because like was mentioned, this is for you guys. This is why you guys did this. One of the things that is a big goal of mine as well is that my wife and I, when we have anniversaries or it's somebody's birthday or something like that, as much as I do love a lot of the dining options in Palmyra, there are some places that I love to go. Like in Fork Union, we've got the Fork Union Village Restaurant. Honestly, that's one of my favorite places to go. It's just cool and it's good. But there aren't a whole lot of places to go and sit down with your significant other and celebrate, an anniversary or a birthday, or somewhere to come and have a birthday for somebody in the family. That's what this is. And that's what this needs to be in order to be successful here. We all really need to make sure that, we need to be pulling in other people too who don't live in the lake, because that's going to be key to our success, both here and at the pub. Certainly golf season is going to, I am hoping and I am positive that business is going to take off during golf season. We have a lot of ideas for, to keep the golfers there, to keep them swinging, drinking, eating, all the above. So as far as the pub goes, we are going to be switching up the pub menu a little bit in the next, I would say, month or so to make it a little more pubby. I know that's not really a word, but I think there's some things that, and certainly suggestions that I've gotten since in the short time that I've been here on kind of what that food needs to be. And, I think it's important to have an identity for the pub as well as an identity for Lakeside. You want to come enjoy your anniversary, nice candlelight, tablecloth, come to Lakeside. You want just a really good, honest, home-cooked, delicious meal, you go to the pub. And, it's important to make sure that we're appealing to everyone too. It was mentioned, I got an email last week about children here at Lakeside and how, a lot of people, that's what's preventing them is there's nothing for kids. We made up a kids menu in the course of about 2.5 hours, printed it out, and children are welcome. I encourage this. This can be a family dining as well. So we've got the pub, we've got Lakeside. The next thing that I'm really trying to focus on is events, because for those of you that are in the business or have been in the business, events is what's going to make or break you. Our opportunity, we have this incredible setting, we have this incredible new facility. There is no reason why we should not be a destination spot for a number of different things, such as weddings, birthday parties, anniversaries. There's, even corporate meetings. There's lots of different things that this could be used for, and that we are able to have, here without a problem. And we've got everything we need. We've got great AV, we've got great food. Those are all things that, and we've got great service. We've got great people, and those are three key components to attracting those types of functions. So that's kind of my plan in a nutshell. You know, I'm still getting my feet wet, for sure. I've only been here, like you said, since December. You know, I am hopeful that I will be here for a very, very long time. Like I said in the article, I'm very grateful to be here. This wasn't something that was, you know, my wife and I were talking the other day about the job that didn't work out in Charlottesville. And there was a reason that that job didn't work out. You know, it at least got us here, but now I'm here. So I think that's, you know, I'm a firm believer in there's a purpose in everything. So I appreciate you guys very much. I appreciate the opportunity. And I certainly will open up for Q&A. I see hands going up.
We're brand new here. We just moved here in October.
Welcome.
I really believe you've hit a home run with the pub. And I know
Awesome.
You're going to make some changes. I wish you would just leave the sportsman's breakfast alone.
That is noted, sir. Yes, sir.
First of all, we enjoyed the brunch today. Great.
Excellent. Thank you.
You think you'll be using the deck and outdoor seating as the weather gets better?
Without a doubt. 100%. I think we might even need a few more tables out there. I will say one more thing on that is I've already gotten 2 calls in the past 2 weeks about weddings here of 100 people or more. So, and the deck was something that they asked about. You know, my wife and I actually got married at my sister's house on Gray Street. Again, broke, Palmyra, everything worked. It's just one thing after another. It was a beautiful house though. It's one of the row houses in Richmond. But I mean, you've got this beautiful deck, you've got this beautiful backdrop, you've got a dance floor, you've got room for, we've got amazing food for catering. You know, that's where the groomsmen are all gonna hang out. So, you know, that's, the deck will definitely be in play for both dining and events. Yes, sir.
I know this is not something restaurateurs normally book on with favor, but I'd really encourage you at the pub to have a really quick, fast, unpalatable hot dog and sandwich at the turn.
Okay, so
That's all the golfers want.
absolutely, and that's I'm glad you brought that up. That's something that we've already talked about. I know a couple of things were tried last year, and this is all just from what I'm being told. I wasn't here last year, but there was going to be like a quick breakfast and a quick lunch, and for whatever reason, it didn't take off. You know, and I don't think that's necessarily, you know, saying that anybody did anything wrong, but I think we just need to look at it and try and figure out how are we going to deliver this well? How are we going to deliver it, you know, at not $7 a hot dog? Hot dogs.
Something that they can take out to the cart and eat as they go
And
on
roll
to the
out.
next one.
Okay, yeah. Having been a golfer in my day, absolutely. I want a hot dog, I want a beer, and I want it to go. And I'll probably have another one in my pocket. So, of both, 1 hot dog, 1 beer. But yeah, that will definitely. Part of the pub menu change is, I know there is a monster dog that I guess got out that I was thinking about perhaps taking off. No. To severe backlash, so it's not coming off. My fault. I apologize. However, there will be smaller hot dogs for those of us who don't want to palate the foot long. So there's my words on hot dogs.
So while you're talking about smaller, we eat very small meals, and I don't like to, you know, I don't mind the price, but I don't want to eat the same thing that I take home for 3 days in a row.
Sure.
Have you ever thought about smaller portions or smaller plates?
Yeah, so that's something that Daniel, the chef, is very big on as well. We want people to leave both places satisfied, but not gorged. I'm the type of person when I go out to eat, I mean, I raise hogs, I love pork, period. I love bacon, I love sausage, I love chops, I love it all. And if you put 2 big pork chops in front of me, I'm gonna eat them. And I don't care what the consequences are. But yes, that is something that we're trying to look at on the new menus as far as, I think the mini pub burger is a perfect example of trying to appease, some people don't want a half pound burger. And there was the Mile High burger, and that thing had a big steak knife through it, I think, at one point. But yeah, some of the new pub menu items you will see are geared more toward smaller plates. The appetizer section will be expanded, and the entree portion will be really there's only 2 entrees on the menu, and that's the chicken fingers and the fish and chips. Those may show up on specials, but we're not, and you guys have been seeing the specials on a weekly basis, so there will be entrees there, but we are going for a more small plate, which is what a pub is supposed to be. You're not supposed to be able to go and have a 3-course, 4-course meal at the pub. If you want that, that's why we have Lakeside. But sure, portions are definitely something that we're taking into account, not only from people not wanting to eat all that, but also from a pricing perspective. We've got to make sure that I only use the term profitable because that's the business I come from. But if we're doing a half-pound burger for $4, we're losing money. So, looking at that, we do, a 4-ounce burger for $4. Maybe that's a little better. So yes, definitely we're going to be looking at our pricing structure as well as the portions and making sure that it's good for I can't make everybody happy. I could kill myself trying. But definitely that's on the board.
Go ahead.
After you.
I want to know how much, maybe not at this point while you're trying to iron out your menus and stuff, but I want to know if your plans for the future include locally sourced produce and meat and cheese. And Charlottesville is the richest area in the world for food. We have a lot of good producers of those things.
Yeah, I touched on that a few minutes ago. Being a farmer myself who produces those ingredients that you speak of.
You did say that.
Yeah.
I want to know if the restaurants are going to be procuring those products to use in their menus and in their foods rather than Cisco.
So this is the point in my career where I stand upon you, and I am a walking hypocrisy. I will shoot you straight. I hate Cisco. I hate U.S. foods. However, being able to run a food and beverage business, I got to really make sure I watch my words here. Without using them with the budget that we have is not particularly feasible. So,
Extent,
yes, 100%.
I would like to use locally sourced. I cook for myself all the time. I don't eat out a lot. The reason I don't eat out a lot is because a lot of stuff is Cisco, U.S. Foods. It doesn't like me, I don't like it.
I encourage you to check out our Facebook page, Crick Hollow Farm. You will see that I am also a proponent of that, 110%. And when I can,
bring that.
I will. The summertime will be a perfect example for that. I'm not going to buy tomatoes in the summer from Cavalier Produce when I have 17 farmers trying to get rid of their tomatoes for whatever they can. So yes, I do plan to bring those in, but I also just have to make sure that I can afford to do such things. But I can give you one more example. The special last week, the tofu, was from Twin Oaks, which are very good friends of mine. They have a wonderful tofu product. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They're the hippies that have been there since the 60s. They make hammocks and tofu. So Cavalier Produce, oddly enough, carries a lot of those. There's an Autumn Olive Farms pork. He's actually one of my competitors. They also, Cavalier Produce can source from a lot of these local farms. There's Fall Line Farms, which can, has a group that has gotten together, and you can order all this stuff online and have it delivered. So yes, it is in the plans for sure, to the best of my ability. If you look at our catering menus, there's a catch on the bottom that says we use locally sourced products whenever possible, because that is very important to me personally, for sure.
We all want to eat good food.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just going back to where the small portion deal. The other day we had a sirloin special. You had a small and a large, different prices, same, everything else same, just a small piece, a large piece. Can you do more of that, like have the same menu item, but one chop, two chops with two different prices, so then you don't have to have different dishes, you just have a small and large portion?
Sure, that's a good idea. That's something that we could certainly look into, for sure.
Robert, you've got 100 people here tonight. Is there any option that you can open up on like a Sunday night and take reservations, and half or more of us stay here for dinner tonight? We meet once a month. We meet once a month.
I mean, I can go throw on a chef coat if you guys are hungry. I'll do whatever I can. Yeah.
Once a month. Some of the clubs may be this size. I think this is the biggest club.
Sure.
At the lake. But if we draw 100 people and 50 of them want to have dinner right here, a lot of us are going to go out to dinner someplace tonight.
Sure.
And if you could do that, tie it into some of the meeting groups, it's good for you, it's good for us too.
It's capture. I mean, you guys are here. You're already here. I don't have to get you here. Yes, I think you eat. That's good. I think one of the things, just to touch on that real quick, and then I'm coming to you next, is that we need to make sure, like, I'm also a big proponent of if you're going to do something, you better do it right. And if 75 of you were to descend upon the restaurant, or even 50 of you, immediately following this meeting, you're not going to have great service. I'm just going to tell you straight up. But figuring out maybe there's something that we can do where, from a banquet type of, perhaps we put out platters over on those tables, and we can make this into more of a social, But that's certainly something that we could look into. I'm always open to that. I mean, like I said, you can.
No, you may not like what I was thinking, but I'm thinking we don't need a social time. We'll just have dinner. I don't need a refreshment committee. See, I'm seeing a frown right there.
But yeah, figuring out how it works for you guys and for us is really the key to all of this. So, hot dogs, yes, they're good.
Do you have Valentine's Day in here?
We do not this year. This year, I promise you're next. This year has been Valentine's Day. This year has been, honestly, when I got here, staffing has been a real challenge. There's been some other challenges as well. And it's, like you said, it is always going to be a challenge, for sure. But being able to wrap my head around everything first was really important before, again, I come back to, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it right. I'm not going to do it halfway. So there is a Valentine's special at the pub. And then we will certainly be open next weekend for anybody who wants to celebrate late. Or maybe they can't celebrate during the week.
I'm not exactly sure how to ask this question, but
Sure.
there's probably a lot of us at the lake who have dietary needs. And so for me to find a restaurant, and there are restaurants here that do this, if I can't eat a heavy starch, I can always get something like a vegetable or a salad instead of that.
Sure.
I can do it at the pub too, it just costs
Okay.
extra for me to do that. And so,
So like
I'm
subbing
going
a
to
salad is extra.
I'm always going to choose some place that will sub a salad for pasta or sub a salad for French fries.
Okay.
You know, is that a possibility that there are side subs that we could get? I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only person that has.
I'm sure you are not. I have no doubt. In looking at the new menu, yes and no. I think some of the sides, you know, like we love the sweet potato fries, or at least perhaps not you. A lot of people love sweet potato fries, the French fries. There are other sides out there, though, that can. The reason that a salad is always upcharged is because it's more than 4 ounces of French fries. So it's just not really calculated, and the plate cost is the technical reason for that. You know, in looking at the new menu, maybe that's something that we can work into every plate cost. So then that's an option for those of you who need it. And like you said, there are a lot of you, and having been in this business for a long time and having watched this dietary restriction and allergen thing, just, I mean, it's crazy. I blame Cisco coming back this way. I totally understand that, and I am sympathetic to it, and I try to do my best to be able to offer something to someone so that I don't alienate them from the restaurant completely, because that's the last thing I want to do, especially in a community like this. So, yes,
For instance, when I go to Sal's.
I'm sorry?
When I go to Sal's, they know that I go in, and the first time I went in, I said I can't eat pasta and bread. I mean, I have a carb count that I have to stay with.
Sure.
And I said, so is there any possibility that I could get broccoli instead of pasta? Sure, no problem. Other places, it's, oh yeah, you can. And it would be an additional $4 to your meal to do that.
Right.
You know, but there are different places that can and more places that can. I guess my question is what is the possibility of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the possibility is there. You know, not specifically knowing all the ins and outs of the pub menu, and perhaps what you're referencing is an upcharge for the salad $2. Is that what it is now? Oh, it's $1.50. Okay. That's something I can look into, certainly, when we redo that menu. But subbing out any sort of vegetable that we have, like, that's no problem, and there should not be a charge for that.
In my case, it didn't matter if it was vegetable or salad, as long as it wasn't French fries or something that came on a plate.
Sure.
I hate to interject, but I do like to start on time and finish on time. We have one last question, and then we're going to adjourn. Okay?
All right. Hopefully this is really for the common good here. Could you speak to the event policy for us as owners if we want to hold an event in some of these rooms or at the pub, if it's a room rental fee or if it's a room rental, or you can meet a food and beverage minimum? What is that policy? And if it's a current policy that you haven't addressed, do you see changing it in the future?
We're working on it.
Okay. Because I would like for it to be, because we'll hear one thing and then we call and we get a different response from the front desk. Will tell us something and come to find out that's truly not. Like, we hear a lot of different things, so just either have something in writing as a flyer or something out there, or, but, you know, because we would be interested in renting these rooms and bringing event business, but we don't know if it's a room rental plus food and beverage minimum or just a food and beverage minimum or what it is.
Tom, you want to take that?
Yeah, let me answer that one a little bit. Amy, you're absolutely correct. We've been fussing about this now for 3 years, and Robert had some good ideas about having a minimum food for a room, take the place of the rental. Marlene is working on a change to the policy. I'm looking at it. We're going to do something. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do, but it's going to be better.
And when do you think that decision might be made?
I think she's going to put a first reading out, I think, next week, at the board meeting next week. So hopefully we'll start by then. But have to have a second reading in March. So, but there's a lot of latitude right now. So just bear with us for a few weeks, okay?
Oh, of course. But I was just curious, maybe something.
Huh?
You can negotiate.
I don't negotiate. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah. Thank you, guys.